Melda was talking about, oh, it's wet spring, it rains so much and all that, you know. And Pida in Thailand said, oh, Thailand is so hot right now. Everyone who went to Thailand from Melbourne want to come back. It's so hot, you know. You can't change it, right? The weather can be anywhere, can be change, can be, you know, some people might have hurricane, all of those things. You think that's like, we call that uncontrollable factor, right? Yeah. So if it's gonna rain, do you want to have umbrella with you all the time?
Yes.
So
Yes.
so you don't wait until it rains and you go and run and buy an umbrella, right? So it's the
Yeah.
same thing when we take supplement. We take it before we get sick, right? We take it, it's like we having umbrella ready, we having raincoat ready. It's a protection method just in case one day it saved our life, you know what I mean? So for example, if that rain or that hurricane come around, if we are ready, maybe on that occasion we are not as bad as the one next to us. That's how the supplement comes into that idea. So we don't wait until we get sick and then we go and run to find umbrella, because that's too late, right? So
Yeah.
the whole idea, if in this picture you can see that, you know, this lady has one umbrella and she put her kids inside also, means she educating her kids, right? It's good to have umbrella in the bag. I always do that to my kids. Whenever we go somewhere, I would have umbrella in my handbag. And my daughter said, it's heavy, mom. And you never know, you know, you never know. When it happened, you would thank me, you know, with your hands so wet. And then you see in this picture, most people have the umbrella on because they know, you know, the rain will come, and when it does come, then the effect is not so hard. So I was sharing about healthcare meaning the other day. You go to hospital, healthcare meaning, have you got the symptom yet? If you haven't got the symptom, we can't treat you. Have you been diagnosed yet? If you're not diagnosed, we can't give you the medicine. You know,
Yes.
you spend the whole 2 years trying to investigate what's wrong with you. Then we'll give you the medicine. That's what healthcare means to them, right? And at the end, they give you something, usually have some side effect. You know, sometimes the mental health people that they get depression pill, it gives them, you know, Alzheimer, you know, for long term. Usually there's a price you have to pay after taking that, right? But healthcare should be, oh, you are not sick. Why not just come out and do something holistic, right? That we can be protected and we can be strong. You never get that far when you're sick. Never like that. So usually people don't see it. You know, when we do deep talk to the people, go in that direction of prevention, persistent, getting it ready. You never know. You know, sometimes people would say, you know, that airbag, that seat belt or whatever. Most of the time I've been driven for many years. I never had to get to use it. Well, you know, when the bad accident comes, that could be the factor that saved your life. But how often you get to use it? It might not be that often, but when it's critical point, that might be the thing that save our life. Yeah, it is the same thing like when we are taking supplement. Maybe you don't see the instant effect all the time, but when it's critical, it could be the thing that, wow, I'm not as bad as that person, like the person next to me, you know, got soaking wet because he doesn't have the umbrella on when it rained unexpectedly. So yeah, so are we ready? Do we have umbrella? Do we have a raincoat? Do we have, you know, all the things ready for unexpected? Yeah. So I think you're going the right direction with Rosie, and she seemed to be open to you on. Sometimes people have the mindset they just fall down in terms of, oh, I don't want to go on anymore. You know, like the team member that I follow up the other day. I said, do you still renew your account? Yes. Do you still have the point keep? I try my best, but why are you telling me you want to quit? You do all that. Why you tell? It's just because that they got objection. They need to say it out to make sure that you heard, and you know, you hear them and all that. Sometimes after the talking, oh, it wasn't anything. It just like keep going the same direction, you know.
And they want you to know their situation too, what they're facing. Yes.
That's right. Okay, maybe if to save the time, we can go on to the topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Grenda,
Yes.
for all your sharing. And yes, thank you, Dr. Dongpon, for clarify and give us an example. We need to be prepared, right? We don't know when the time is come, so be prepared. If I wasn't prepared, I might hit it hard this week too. But I was prepared and I know how to tackle it.
Yeah.
Thank God for that wisdom
Yeah.
and opportunity. So yes, today we are very blessed to have Dr. Dongpon, who very expert in human cell, and she's we haven't said this for a long time. I need that slide, Dr. Dongpon. I remember that you are a scientist and researcher from Monash University and have 15 years in the field in researching and have published 44 papers. I remember all that.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Yes. So yeah, thank you so much for giving us the time and the knowledge. We very value you and we thankful to have you, and we would love to hear from you today. We have amazing presentation last week, and
Yeah.
we're expecting a very good in presentation today too,
Thank
from
you.
the holistic approach and cancer awareness.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dongpon.
Yes. Thank you. I try to be very brief on this one and give more story so that you can be, you can make sense out of it. So yeah, I think we were touching on the meaning of being healthy and sickness, and all that. So I think we all want to be on this side where we can enjoy life, and all that. Like smiling, like Imelda said, but we don't want to be hitting the situation here that you see so sad, right? But most of the time we don't realize that you think it's all okay and I did my best. The word I did my best sometimes is not best, but you just wanted to give yourself comfort that you have done your best. But sometimes you can push a little bit extra to make it actually more practical. So yeah, so aging also, we are in the phase now, we accepting that after we past 30, we started to go, not the growing up anymore, it's going down. But how we going down sharply or we going down slowly as the natural process, it depends a lot on what we did in our life, right? So most of the time you would see all these things in hospital, right? The wife, the husband got sick with all this, but you hardly see these days that like people like at their aging, they go out and do recreation things. It should be like that, right? You work so hard in your life, your kids are all out from home, and at the end, after you retire, after retirement, within the first 10 years after retirement, a lot of people go to the right side hospital. And not many go into this side, like going do recreation together. But when you think about it, when you're young, you grow up your family, I don't have time to all this, I have to drop my kid at school and I'm so busy with work and my career and all that. When I have all those time, I'm gonna do this. But when it's the time that you think it's coming, you end up being in hospital. That is sad, right? So we don't want that to happen to us. So today, because I wanted to talk about the prevention, and one of the things that very like shocking for us is every now and then you hear someone got cancer, someone got something. I just want to bring up, and I'm going to use breast cancer as the model to talk, but it applies to all the things that we look at as cancer, right? So every 2 seconds, a person will die from cancer. This is the entire world. Every 2 seconds. We've been talking a lot already since 1 o'clock Melbourne time. Now it's 2 o'clock. So there's a lot happening without us knowing it's there. 7 women who die from breast cancer every day in Australia. 1 in 8 will be diagnosed with breast cancer. So the first take-home message here, any kind of screening and testing, which is that is available for you to do so, don't delay. Okay, so the friend that passed away the other day, not the other day, the friend that passed away with breast cancer last month. When she found out about breast cancer, I was the one that say, hey, I went to do my check, my breast check. Have you done it? And she went. And that's how she found out that she got cancer. So be someone that, also remind others also, because sometimes when you find out early, then it might change the outcome of the whole thing, right? And I talked to another friend, have you go and check? No, I don't want to check. I don't want to know. I said, if it's there or not already, you can't change it. You need to know in order to tackle the whole thing. Eventually she went. So there's so many kind of people that thinks differently. No right or wrong, but use the analogy of we are here to convince people to do good things, but not ordering them, motivate them to do something good, right? Anyhow, so talking about cancer, anywhere in our body that have cell, it can turn into cancer. Is that sad? So any part of the body that have cells can turn into cancer or good cells. And anything that you think of, brain, blood cancer, heart, muscle, anywhere that have cells, sperm, eggs, kidney, liver, bone, lung, anywhere that got cell can turn into cancer. But why not everyone having cancer? What's the secret? So if you have cells, that person A eventually got diagnosed with cancer, that person B also have cells, but not having that diagnosed until old age. So what's the difference? So this is the part that I think if you know this, it would be very helpful. So I said that everywhere that we have cells, in order for cells to grow, what would happen? They would have to divide. If they divide normally, from the left-hand side, 1 become 2, 2 become 4. Once it got enough, 4, 5, 4, 8, 16, it stops. So our organs remain the same side. Yeah. But there's something triggering it. So instead of going to the left side, it goes to the right side. 1 become 2, 2 become 4, 4 become 8, 8 become 16, 32, more and more and more, not stopping. The organ become bigger and clumping. Bigger, they call initially called tumor, because it just get bigger and bigger. Eventually that tumor break apart and travel to the bloodstream to attach onto other organ. One cell might be going in, then become 2, 4, or eventually the whole body got covered with all these, mutated cells, right? What triggering the cell to go to the normal pathway and to go to the unlimited cell division? There's 2 things, genetics and environmental factors. Okay. So can you guess which one counted more?
The environmental.
Yes, correct. If you have bad genetic, but you live in good environmental, you have better chance.
Yeah.
If you have bad genetic and you do nothing about it, in fact, you do worse thing onto it, you have higher chance to be the person that be in hospital bed and that type of things. That makes sense? So normal cells, when it grow enough, it will know how to stop and kill itself off, like slowly dying off. But cancer cell divided, unlimited, and don't know how to kill itself off. So that's it become bigger and then affect other organ. This principle apply to all cancer, right? Whether it start from the colon, start from the liver, start from the breast, anywhere. It start from one single cells that are, choosing the wrong pathway because something triggering it. Yeah, that's something we need to learn. What is that? That's something. Okay. So, right. So in our blood, the cells that actually, remember I said that if we happen to have both type of the cell that normally grow and the one that started to form tumor, why don't everyone have that tumor in the body? Because there's a mechanism to detect, it started to be tumor in the body. What happened? So they goes in the blood cell, there will be something called immune cells. Remember, we're talking about, we have a lot of immune cells in our body that look for bacteria, look for viruses that comes with the food, come with the air, like the COVID. and look for the mutated cells. If it sees some clumps like this, all these immune cells, in our blood, we have the red blood cell that carry oxygen, and we have the immune cell to detect all the abnormal things that happen in our body, like bacteria, virus, fungus, and all the mutated cell. All this kind, don't need to remember the cell, but they have different shape, different look, different name, because there are so many wrong things that can happen in the body. They need a teamwork, like Imelda said, when there's a team, they work better, right? So the purple one might detect certain abnormality. The oranges one might detect certain abnormal. This orange one, called the T cell one, is the one that's called T killer cell. It's very powerful to detect and delete and eliminate the mutated cancer cells. Okay, and many of the products that we have in USANA really good for these T cells. Yeah. So you can't see it by eye because it's so small, you need microscope, but this T cell is the natural killer cell that is very powerful at the beginning of cancer formation, right? If we keep T cells strong and happy, I'll tell you what the T cell would like. So what will happen? So this would be, what do you think this one? This yellow one is actually the T killer cells. This one, the one in blue, are the cells that are starting to be cancer cells, right? The blue ones are starting to look like that. So the T killer cell, usually they're round, right? I'll show you here. They're very round. But when it sees cancer, it starts to like elongate itself with arm, try to eat away all these blue abnormal cells, right? This is the mechanism that we all have it. But you lose it at some point in your life when you don't do good on your body. No any other cancer treatment is better than natural T killer cells in the body. There's even a company trying to look at the way to activate these yellow T cells to kill the cancer cells. It's on trial now. It might work one day, but at the moment, nobody knows how to make these T cells active when the person already diagnosed with middle state of cancer. But they can do a lot when it's early stages to activate this T cell to kill the cancer fast. It doesn't spread to other part of the body. Yeah. So looking at this picture, you want the yellow one to be very strong so that any clumps, any tumors forming, oh, I see it, and then run straight away, try to kill it all off before it become an issue in the body. Does that make sense? So you are the one that controlling how to make the yellow T cells to become very strong. So by what? Eat properly. That's very easy word. Sleep. When you sleep, the yellow one's very happy because it can focus on one thing, right? But when you don't sleep very well, not properly, this yellow one, the yellow cell, the killer cell, will be weak. What else? Exercise appropriately, detox appropriately, be happy, have, the stress relief method and all that. So it's all the holistic things that we needed to do. But sometimes we're not perfect, I understand, but at least when you get to the point, I think I'm overstressed now. I need to make sure that I don't kill off my, Mr. T cell so fast, right? So I asked you to guess whether the genetic factor or the environmental factor have more effect on us when we are talking about cancer. So yeah, it's 10% genetics and 90% environmental. Wow, that's like, even though I have bad genetic, if I do good on the environmental, meaning the controllable factor that we can do as much as we can, then we have a lower risk of cancer any kind, right? So, okay. So I won't go into that. So, all right, the things that I want to mention about, I will come back to this point in a minute because this is related. Okay, so people said that it's okay. I'll come back to this point because this was the main focus. Okay, when we talk about cancer, we talk about cells, right? wherever there's cells, there's a chance for it to go wrong, like grow unlimited and don't know when to die, right? Cells that are born in our body have to die off, and then the new one divided and to replace the dying off one. So the lifestyle, okay. So what are these things that we can eliminate? None of us smoke here, thank God. It didn't happen. But if you're living in the environment where people smoke, you become secondhand smoker, as bad as the first-hand smoker too. Drink, yes, we don't, which is good. But if someone do it, this is one of the worst thing because you can't control this. It's not just like the drug addicted that caused cancer, but it caused other problem also. Stress, Imelda said so. This is, what usually happens to stress when it's chronic and everyday for a long time is worse than immediate stress and it goes away. Does that make sense? Yeah. Long-term stress has been proven to be the most killer to our brain cells and to our hormone balance and all that. And you know what? A lot of us are in this term. It's not the stress that want you to jump from the building, but it's a stress that never go away. And that was me when I was having my full-time job. It just never go away. And you finish one thing, the next thing jumps on you. It never finishes. But, when you think about, they pay me to come into this bed, otherwise they wouldn't pay me for a job. And you just keep going. But you know what? It just keep on going on you. Like, this is called chronic stress. Very, very bad for us, the air, the food, and the lifestyle, how we sit, how we watch something, all contributed to us, right? And of course, anything to do with overweight can increase the risk of cancer, right? That is why weight management is always been the number one target. If someone exposed to us, like they want to try USANA with maybe bone problem, maybe cannot sleep, like the case that I shared early on, maybe something. But eventually when they start to fix the most immediate problem, always looking into introducing them to the detox product or the weight management product. With the weight in the middle of this, USANA cannot be 100% effective. Absorption will be not so good when your tummy is full of, abdominal fat, where the intestine can't move very well, absorption. And every little, like 1 inch, 1 centimeter of your excess body fat here affect the whole hormone, dump the immune system, and all that. So weight has always been something that contributing to a lot of the cancer initiation. So we always need to focus on that. Whether it takes a longer time, we might not sell a huge number of product to them, but if they have weight in the middle, meaning that they don't really know how to eat well. So it affects everything in circle as well, right? So we have macro and micronutrients. And when we talk about boosting immune system, we're talking about both of them because nothing is more important than the other one, right? So even USANA product, we have the macros nutrient, the carb, the protein, the fat, the fiber, the water, we take it by ourselves. Even water these days is not always safe, isn't it? It's always like someone tell you need you can drink from tap water in Melbourne. Really? I even said, really? Maybe not. You probably need some like filtration to get rid of something, right? And they even talk about some part of Australia now. There's more sodium compartment in the water higher than it's expected, and they predicted that it's going to affect a lot of kidney health for many, many people in the next 10, 15 years. Yeah. Even water, but are you aware that we are eating, that's water, right? You can't even taste water salty. Like, what if you eat 1 pack of chip and you can even taste it, it's salty, whenever you eat something salty, think about these contents that we are talking about today, right? So USANA product has this, and the micronutrient, we need 0.03%. All those bottles that we see, it's contributing to USANA won't give you all 0.3. You need to get from food also. You might get 0.2 from USANA if you do it well. If you don't have the budget, you might have 0.1. that type. It works in that ratio. So basically, USANA products, nothing is better than the other. They need to come together. So if you only introduce the micronutrient, not the macronutrient knowledge to someone, they'll get something out from USANA, but not holistic way. Does that make sense? Yeah, they all have to come in combination. When I first start USANA, I focus a lot more on micronutrient, all this part, because I thought the most important one, the vitamin, mineral, antioxidant. But I hardly try any of this product because I thought I was already a lean person. I don't need. And when I look at the picture of myself when I started USANA, I look like someone falling over. I look like a skin covering with bone. Yeah, I don't look good at all. I look like kind of lean but unhealthy person. So therefore, even you're lean or you a little bit more than the like in the BMI of not like above the healthy part, you do need to know both of the nutrition to make it work well. Yeah. And why is that important? It is important because there's certain point when we pass the limit, it's very hard to return. Sometimes some of the point you can't U-turn easily. So it's very important. So all right. So you can show this to people too. We're not just selling you USANA and tell you that you need to do the like this famous university, #1 university of developed country like in the US, in the UK, in Australia. They all having all this knowledge. You have to do a lot of the things at the bottom of the pyramid. This is called the food pyramid, right? You have to exercise appropriately. You have to eat lean meat, fish, bean, good fat and vegetable. And you make sure that it doesn't have other contamination, right? If you have that much money, you eat everything organic, even organic food. If it's been stored for a month, then there's nothing left. You spend money for nothing and all that. All the organic section, they all rotten. They all, over store. They all not fresh because it's high price. They don't sell very fast and they've been kept for a long time. There's all the problem associated with this, but the theory is good, right? The bottom one, like all the dairy and all this soft drink, you do minimum. If you can avoid, one every now and then, it's okay. But at the bottom, all these good one, you do more. That's what they tell you, right? But they don't decide each day that you have to drop your kids at school, you have to go to work. They don't know, like less than 1% of the world population can do this, let alone you are living in poor country. You don't even have money to buy all of this. What would you do, right? So therefore, eating USANA, you are saving money. Why? Because it's extracted. In order for you to do complete, you would spend more. Yeah, when you think about cutting down all the things that's not important, if people sit down properly on what they can get rid of and use that money to buy USANA, I think most people can buy at least essential. You agree?
Yes.
Coffee costs $4.50 at least. Yesterday I had one with my friend because we were walking around. She said, let's have coffee. And I don't want to eliminate that idea of, you can be unhealthy sometime, catching up. Okay, we had coffee. That's $4.50, right? If you do $4.50 multiple times, it becomes so essential, isn't it?
Yes.
so
450 twice a day already essential for
for the health
morning
pack.
and
For
dinner.
the health pack,
For health pack.
yeah, that's right. The health pack gets more than so essential. It got calcium, it got AO booster and all that, right? And 4 doses of cell essential also too.
Yeah.
Actually, USANA is not that expensive when you think about that.
No.
And you see people line up at Starbucks, you see people line up at Pizza Hut, and then you can cut down all that.
Cheaper than the coffee.
I think it's the way of thinking, like Brenda was sharing about her downline.
Yes.
It's the way of thinking, right? So okay, and then they recommended to you that so daily multivitamin and sometimes extra vitamin D. All right, vitamin D has a very strong property of anti-mutated cells, right? Vitamin D is underrated in terms of vitamin because we're thinking about I have to take vitamin in winter. because I want the calcium to be absorbed well so that my bone is strong. However, vitamin D has another 500 more function that never been talking about so much in the public. So if you buy $20-something extra vitamin D, you are saving a fortune in the future of the things that the benefit you take daily. And I highly recommend, it's one of the cheapest product. Cells and you get something out of it, but when we are old and we living in the northern or southern hemisphere, it should be something we should invest it on. Yeah, very, very powerful. Okay. And sometimes they just say to you that, sometimes red wine and all this can help, but watch out. If you already have liver problem, then you don't want to be drinking so much alcohol on top of the antioxidant in the wine, right? This one is like subject to individual. I won't comment so much on that. And yeah, so in terms of cancer, nowadays, all of the rehab center and all that. So my friend that that passed away, she spent $20,000 to go for a month on a rehab center. It's the one that in the border between New South Wales and Victoria. They have everything. They teach you how to eat, how to cook, how to meditate, how to do sauna, how to do oxygen treatment and all that, all the equipment on you, and then everything. However, they missed some point on supplementation. She came back against a lot on supplementation, and she kept on saying to me, my naturopath said, you don't need supplement. And you know what? I use the same principle, let her win. I don't say anything, say that your thing is wrong, but I try to slowly get the information on her about, yeah, organic is good. If you could do it, everything perfect, then you don't need supplement. But most of the time we don't. So therefore, I still believe in supplement. If you don't, it's okay. I'm not going to talk anything against it, but let's share on other things that we know, well and all that. So, like Glenda was saying that her husband loved CoQ, right? CoQ is one of the antioxidant product. You don't just take CoQ and get one benefit. He feels refreshed, right? But at the same time, his T cell is really happy because he got coenzyme Q10 to boost every day. Does that make sense? When last week I said something about when someone take USANA product, we might promote calcium for bone, but calcium does another 500 things that some of them we can't measure. That is why something that we need to learn and do and trust. It become more obvious when the time come, the storm come. And how come he got detected faster than the one in the same age range? It's because he has been boosting himself all the way through. And time you cannot go back. Oh, I know it's good now. I should have done 10 years ago, but you can't because you already passed 10 years. Yeah. So like all these trial on remedies has been tried on a number of rehab center, including the one that USANA have in Mexico, the Sanofi hospital. So they try all these things in combination with cancer treatment. Okay. All right. So yeah, how does the antioxidant that we are talking about? I will tell you what the antioxidant that we have in USANA in a minute. But for example, you take antioxidant as a supplement from USANA, what do you get on when you talk about cancer? One, it increased our immunity to kill the cell. You remember I said immune cells, because they have to fight with very strong cancer cell, they need a lot of energy, right? Right. CoQ go in and help with the energy. Profabanol go in and try to recover the pathway that the cancer kill the immune cell kill the cancer and all that. So basically, the first line of defense with our immune cells will be boosted by the antioxidant property in the product to basically make our immune cells stronger and go and fight and kill the cancer cells. That makes sense? So it also trying to give the cancer cell that about to be cancer cell to reverse back into a normal cells. I'm not talking about USANA product. I'm talking about the whole principle of antioxidant, right? So USANA product is one of the things that has antioxidant, but I'm not saying that USANA can do all this, but in principle, if you take enough good dose, good amount of antioxidant, So the cell that are about to become cancer can sometimes go back to a normal cells before it goes into beyond repair, right? And it also protect our cells, inside our cells, the DNA, right? When the DNA is chopped or mutated, what would happen? It just lead to the way of making cancer faster. So the antioxidant protect the DNA from being chopped and being damaged also, right? It's too deep. And okay, and also remember I said cancer starts with one organ, right? And eventually that clumps of cells starting to become so strong can basically hide itself away from the immune cell. It starts to spread out. When it spread out and then it gets into the bloodstream, that's when it kills the patient, right? When it spread out and then get into the bloodstream, because the bloodstream go all over the body, right? So you see that people with the final state of cancer, they call metastatic stage, meaning that it started to go into the blood and go and attach somewhere that is critical for life. If it go and block your brain cells, then you have no oxygen and then you end up being the cause of death and then things like that. So with antioxidant, they have been proven with high efficiency, high concentration. So it can actually reduce the chance of the cancer cell getting into the bloodstream onto that part. So, but it has to be quite significant amount. Therefore, a lot of these in the rehab center, what they do the injection of antioxidant into your bloodstream. High vitamin C, high grapeseed, high CoQ. So that has to be done by the doctor. And don't you think that's even more beyond the control?
Yes.
Right? So what you can like, what if you take it every day? Would it be more gentle?
Yeah.
Yeah, would you prefer that way to eat it as a food, but not to take it as a medicine?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So if they have to inject you, it means that you are in a serious illness already. Yeah. So the principle of taking supplement is that you do moderately, but every day. Moderately, but every day. Better than you need a whole pump of syringe to inject. It means that you need a lot, and sometimes might not be fast enough to fix everything, right? So, all right. So when we talk about USANA, we always refer to this book, The Comparative Guides to Nutritional Supplement. So we know where the book's coming from, right? The Canadian government starting it, right? So Canadian government actually give funding to Dr. Lai McWilliam to form a team of scientists and health professionals, sport medicine people to actually evaluate the supplement and put it into a standard, help people to choose the right one, right? So oregano, is that right? Organic one.
Organic.
I'm not sure whether it's in the book, but you can tell your friend about this. That in order for Organica. Yeah, so mention that to your friend that if anything is in the book, if it's too new, it means that it's actually manufactured recently because they know in the game it can make money. So therefore they're not evaluated yet, so you can't have a comment on that. But if it's already in the book, you can explain how to compare. So this is better than discredit someone without evidence, right? So we talk about what we have and we try to give them to look into their own without us having to be justified and unfair to other products, right?
Yes.
So they started in Canada and eventually the government funding ran out. Lai McWilliam finished his parliament term. He got out and formed a company called NutriSearch. NutriSearch keep going with another version of the book. They start selling the book so they can have the funding to do more evaluation on the book. So therefore, this book becomes like a 20 years of history of trying to help people that it's not just taking anything. Whatever you decide to take, it's your future. And your future cannot go back in time, right? Yeah. So whatever you decide today, contributing a lot, whether you want something, any that suit the budget, but 10 years later, you look back, you regret, or you invest now, look at this book. This is #1 on all the country. It's called USANA. Invest now. And when you look back, you don't regret. And that's it. It doesn't mean that everyone is guaranteed to be, 100% effective, but if everyone start off with usana, with a good amount, you get something better than you harm something into your body, right?
Yeah.
So all right, in terms of, oh, this one is, it's sad, but when you think about it, it's true, right? We all like that, right? We all learn, when we're born, we learn all the things in our life, sitting, crawling, start walking, start running, going to school, graduation, running after your career, make money, pay off your house, pay off your car. And then you start to age, you start to feel sick. And at the end, we all have to say goodbye to the world. So that's how it is. But we don't always think about when is the destination, because we sort of can guess where the destination. Do we enjoy this process? Very important. Do we enjoy life? Life is the process. The process should be the one that we enjoy, not the destination. Like, you never thought that if I have all this car or this house or this money, live in the most fancy suburb, in the most beautiful country in the world, my life will be set. But at that time, I'm 75, So it's not that. So what is supposed to be is you enjoy every moment of each state of life. Smile often, like Imelda say, learning as much of the most practical knowledge onto your life. A lot of people would ignore how to learn all these things we talk about today. You know why? Because they think it doesn't make money, right? But I think this is the most important thing you need to learn, more important than anything else, because it will give you practical thing that you to make your journey expanding out. Not just like 10 years after retirement and you start health issue, you go to hospital and you complain that private hospital is so expensive and all that. It's all the very standard circle of normal people. So basically, okay, I won't go into that one. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to one more time because it's related to breast cancer. It will be another 2 minutes. I'll come back. Okay, another thing specifically to breast cancer we need to know is what we apply onto our skin. Okay, Imelda, remember this. You can share to your friends. So when we eat something, right, into our body, it got digested, it got absorbed, and before it got distributed in all the body, it goes through the liver. If there is something toxic to what we eat, the liver will make it less toxic, get rid of it, and only give our body the best to be absorbed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's only under the condition that your liver is good. Okay, if your liver is good, that efficiency is going down depending on your liver. That's why Kendra share about feeling fresh with Hepa Plus. There is a reason. That makes sense. The more you feel tired because your liver is exhausted and all that. Like the other day we have our friend joining that she worked night shift, right? I have no energy. I can understand her that, right? Anyhow, if we eat something, we have extra protection because of the liver is there to help us to get rid of the toxin, right? But whether our liver work 100%, it's up to you to make the liver work well, all right? Sleep well, eat well, and all that. Control your weight and all that. But if you put something onto the skin, what happened? It doesn't go through the liver. It goes directly into your bloodstream and all everywhere, right? What if there's something you put onto your skin has something bad to it? The liver never get to detox it out. It's very important. Choosing your skincare is very essential. Very, very essential. Because remember this point, skincare doesn't go through the liver. You have no chance to detox it. And it gets spread into your body very fast, right? So what's in the skincare mostly, they call xenoestrogen, right? Xenoestrogen is like estrogen that is fake. It's come from all this product, all the chemical into the product. This xenoestrogen, what it does is that it goes and then confuse our body from our normal estrogen, which is the hormone that help with the breast, the being female and including the growth of our breast cells. So xenoestrogen can stimulate a lot of bad pathway in the brain. And there have been some debating whether it's the main cause of breast cancer in female. Probably the cause, depending whether it's men or not, but somehow it can have a relationship with higher risk of cancer developing in the breast because it's related to estrogen, right? Estrogen control our breast to grow, and if it grows abnormally, it becomes tumor. That makes sense? So therefore, if you have all these chemical, right? BHA, this is in the plastic. BPA is in the plastic, and all these things, paraben, for example. All these things can contribute a lot to the fake estrogen it gets into our body, right? So, and everything that we use have one or two more of that, right? So therefore, if you choose your product properly, you try to avoid all of this. I'll do a screenshot and send to you. Read the product label. So maybe there's some unknown one that you can't avoid. Okay, you don't know, then you do your best. But if they have all of this, you should try to avoid. And you look at USANA product, they will eliminate all of this. Even USANA bottle, they will say BPA free. BPA, when you do microwave or dishwashing for a long period of time, reuse it, it's actually come out into the surface of that and we drink it in. Baby bottle, they're now like promoted in the commercial way of BPA free and free because there's a reason for it, right? Paraben is the very common one that used in to preserve or the skincare product. So all of this is like a fake estrogen that mess up our estrogen hormone in the body. And if you use it for a long period of time or a lot more every single day, then you might have family history or may not, depending on the situation that's happening. Then the chance of messing up estrogen hormone that can be the cause of mutated cell in the breast that can happen also. So basically, all of these products have something, one or two, right? Even like biscuits or something that we buy for our kids at supermarket have BPA, BHT, and processed food, everything. They need to put it in to prevent it from growing bad. But they said, oh, they put it in at the amount that doesn't harm you. But something become harmful when many people have an effect, but sometimes there's no proof, right? So basically what I'm saying is that something that very obvious we can avoid, we avoid, all of these. So the things that
it would take time too.
Yes,
it will not be a straight away effect. It takes time. Yep.
So they look at the breast tissue of women who have breast cancer, and they found a lot of paraben on the tissue. So it's accumulating because it's estrogen. It goes there and then messing up all the pathway of that. So when they take sample from female with breast cancer, they found a lot of paraben concentration into there. So yes. So it's basically messing up our hormone a lot, and messing up our hormone have a very high relationship to the breast cells become a lot more mutated, right? And it's not just female. Men also have breast cancer too. Maybe a lot less because of their estrogen is not as high as us, but it can happen to men. And when men have breast cancer, usually kill them faster than female also. Yeah. So basically, read the label. And what I wanted to say is that some country already banned paraben. Yeah, European products are not so bad, but some Australia not banning it yet. But some country they still, no clear evidence and all that. I'm not gonna wait for it to be clear. When I see something like this, I would try to avoid. Okay. All right. So basically, our CeraVe product is clear of all this. That's the main thing. If you think about linking everything back to practical, when we want to apply something to our skin, you make sure that they are free of all those fake estrogen that can mess up our hormone. So this is specifically to breast cancer that we are talking about as an example of cancer, but generally anything that is bad environmental to cancer, drink, smoke, and all that, we all know. And I know that you lady are smart in this group. You are not the hard one to be taught how to avoid that. But these days, even young kids started all those things already, drinking, smoking, and all that. try our best to be a good role model, at least in our family, and then expand it out to someone we love. And because they most likely is going to listen to us eventually, hopefully, and then we do our best, right? I will end my talk now and I will take questions. And I know Imelda is very interested and she can ask if she wants to, right?